Welcome, beloved soul, to a life lived with Jesus, a life not defined by perfection but by presence, not sustained by strength alone but by grace that never runs dry. For to live with me is to walk daily in love, care, patience, and truth, knowing you are never alone and never unseen. I invite you into a relationship, not a religion, into a journey where your heart is known, your wounds are tended, and your fears are met with compassion. For I am gentle with the broken and close to the weary, and I walk beside you not to rush you but to steady you, not to burden you but to give you rest. Living with me means waking each day aware that you are deeply loved, chosen before you could choose, and held even when your faith feels small, for my love does not depend on your consistency but on my faithfulness, and I do not withdraw when you stumble. For I am the shepherd who seeks, the father who waits, and the friend who stays. When you live with me, you learn that life's storms do not disappear, but you no longer face them alone. And though the winds may howl and the waters rise, my peace can remain within you, steady and unshaken, because I am with you in the boat, and my voice still calms the seas. Living with me is learning to bring your whole self, your questions, doubts, hopes, failures, and dreams, into my presence without fear of rejection. For I already know you fully and love you completely, and there is nothing you can reveal that would cause me to turn away. I care about the details of your life, the quiet moments no one applauds, the prayers whispered through tears, the choices made when no one is watching, and I delight in walking with you through ordinary days as much as miraculous ones, because my love is not reserved for mountaintops, but is poured out faithfully in valleys too. To live with me is to learn a new way of seeing, where forgiveness becomes freedom, humility becomes strength, and love becomes your guide, where you begin to understand that greatness is found in serving, that healing flows from surrender, and that true life is discovered not by clinging tightly to control, but by trusting me with open you more clearly than you can see it yourself. And I see how your steps have begun to drift, not because you are wicked, but because you are weary, burdened, and carrying emotions that have begun to spill from your mouth before they have been healed in your heart. I know the one you love most, the one whose presence brings comfort and whose absence would bring pain. And I see the invisible strain forming between you, not from a lack of love, but from words spoken too quickly, too sharply, too carelessly. And I tell you this not as an accusation, but as a mercy, for life and death truly rest in the power of the tongue, and every word you release carries weight beyond what human eyes can measure, shaping hearts, forming atmospheres, and either opening doors for peace or allowing division to take root. My child, I gave you speech so that you could bless, heal, encourage, and restore, yet lately frustration, impatience, and unspoken fear have flavored your words. And though the one you love may smile or remain silent, their heart has felt the sting, and I see the small cracks you do not yet see, cracks that can still be mended if you choose humility over pride and love over the need to be right. Remember how your words once brought laughter, safety, and reassurance, how they once reflected the tenderness I placed within you, and know that this same tenderness still lives in you, waiting to be chosen again. I am calling your attention now because a moment approaches that will test the foundation of this bond, a conversation that can either become a bridge to deeper unity or a blade that deepens separation, and the outcome will not be decided by circumstances but by the posture of your heart and the discipline of your speech. For gentle answers turn away wrath, while harsh words stir it up, and this is not merely wisdom for daily living, but a spiritual law woven into creation. Do not let pride tell you that silence is weakness or apology is defeat. For in my kingdom humility is strength, and repentance is the doorway to restoration. And when you choose to listen without interrupting, to speak without accusation, and to apologize without defending yourself, heaven itself leans in to assist you, sending grace into the space where tension once lived. I am not asking you to deny your feelings, but to bring them to me before you bring them to another. For when anger festers, it leaks through your words, but when pain is surrendered, it is transformed into compassion. And I am near to you in those moments when you feel misunderstood, overlooked, or overwhelmed, inviting you to pour out your heart to me so that your mouth does not become the instrument of harm. Understand this, my child. Your words are seeds, and every seed produces a harvest in time. So ask yourself what harvest you desire. For if you sow patience, you will reap peace. If you sow kindness, you will reap trust. But if you sow harshness, you will reap distance. And none of this is spoken to condemn you, because condemnation does not come from me, but correction flows from love. And I correct you because you matter and because the relationship you are tending is a gift entrusted to you. Just as a garden must be watered, weeded, and protected from neglect, so must love be tended with gentleness, forgiveness, and intentional care, and neglect or careless speech can choke what was meant to flourish. While tenderness and humility can cause it to grow stronger than it has ever been, I see the fears you do not say aloud, the pressure you carry, the expectations you place upon yourself, and I know how easily those burdens can turn into sharp words, but I invite you to exchange them for my yoke, which is easy, and my burden, which is light, so that your heart may find rest and your words may once again reflect peace. Remember that every word spoken in love aligns you with my heart, while every word spoken in bitterness aligns you with accusation, and this is why I've taught you to guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life, and when your heart is healed, your speech follows naturally. My child, blessings spoken aloud are not empty sounds. They are declarations that release my will into the world. And when you bless the one you love, when you speak encouragement, affirmation, and grace, you partner with me to strengthen them and to strengthen the bond between you. But when you speak in frustration or contempt, you unknowingly cooperate with division. And this is why forgiveness is essential, not only for their freedom but for yours. Because unforgiveness poisons the well from which your words are drawn. I have called you to be a blessing, to speak words that build bridges rather than walls, to correct with gentleness, to speak truth wrapped in love, and to remember that even silence can speak when it is filled with patience rather than withdrawal. You are not alone in this, for I have given you my spirit to guide you, and when you feel the urge to react, pause and invite me into that moment, asking for wisdom, and I will give it generously, because I desire restoration more than you do, and peace more than you can imagine. Learn from the moments behind you, both the times your words healed and the times they wounded, and let them shape your future choices, knowing that the one you love is listening not only to what you say but to how you say it, forming their understanding of love, safety, and connection through your tone and posture. Speak to them as I speak to you now, with patience, clarity, firmness rooted in compassion, and an unshakable commitment to love, and know that prayer is your greatest weapon and your safest refuge. For when you pray for those you love, you are not merely speaking into the air, but standing in the gap, inviting my protection, my peace, and my purpose to surround them. And I hear every prayer, every whispered plea, every tear offered in faith. Pray with gratitude, acknowledging the gift they are. Pray for protection over their body, mind, and spirit. Pray for healing where wounds exist, for clarity where confusion lingers, for peace where anxiety tries to settle, and for guidance so that their steps align with my will. And as you do, trust that angels are dispatched and my presence goes before them. Pray for their relationships, their purpose, and their future, declaring that no weapon formed against them will prosper, that their minds are guarded by my peace, that their bodies are strengthened by my healing power, and that their hearts are anchored in my truth. And as you pray, allow your own heart to be softened. For prayer changes not only circumstances, but the one who prays. I am faithful, my child, and I am at work even when you cannot see it, shaping outcomes, healing wounds, and opening doors that no one can shut. But you must choose obedience over impulse and love over pride, trusting that my way leads to life. Your name is called not because you are in danger of being abandoned, but because you are deeply loved and carefully guided, and I am waiting for your response, not with anger but with hope, ready to restore, ready to heal, ready to teach you how to speak life again. So answer me with humility, walk forward with intention, and let your tongue become an instrument of grace. For as you choose love, you will see peace return, bonds strengthen, and blessings unfold in ways you did not expect. And know this always: I am with you, I am for you, and my love will never fail. My beloved child, I speak to you now from a place of deep love, mercy, and care, not to frighten you, but to awaken your heart to the tenderness of my presence. For your name is precious to me and known in heaven, and I call you gently because I see what you cannot yet see, and I desire to protect what you hold dear. I know your heart, I know the one you love most, and I know the weight you have been carrying in silence, the thoughts that crowd your mind, the emotions that rise within you when you feel misunderstood, tired, or overwhelmed. And I understand how easily these hidden burdens can slip into your words and shape the way you speak to those closest to you. My child, I gave you your voice as a gift, a sacred instrument meant to release life, comfort, healing, and encouragement. Yet I see how frustration and impatience have begun to color your speech, not because you are cruel, but because you are weary and longing to be understood. And I want you to know that I see this, and I am not disappointed in you. For I am a compassionate Father who corrects not to shame but to restore. Life and death truly rest in the power of the tongue, and every word you speak carries spiritual weight, shaping hearts and forming atmospheres, building bridges of closeness or walls of distance. And this is why I call your attention now, because what you say in moments of emotion has the power to either deepen love or quietly wound the heart of the one you cherish. Remember, my child, how your words once brought peace, safety, and joy, how they once reflected the gentleness I placed within you, and know that this same gentleness still lives in you, waiting to be chosen again. For love is not lost. It is only buried beneath unspoken pain. I do not speak to you to condemn you, for condemnation is not my voice, but I speak to guide you back to the path of humility, patience, and grace, where restoration waits, and where love can grow stronger than before. There is a moment ahead, a conversation that will matter deeply, and it will test not your feelings but your willingness to listen, to soften your heart, and to let love speak louder than pride. And the outcome of this moment will not be decided by who is right, but by who chooses love first. Do not be afraid to humble yourself, for humility is not weakness, but strength refined by trust, and an apology offered in sincerity has the power to heal wounds you may not even realize were created. Listen without interrupting, hear without defending, and speak without accusation, for when you do this, heaven itself moves to assist you, releasing peace where tension once lived. I know you have been carrying fears you have not voiced, expectations you feel pressured to meet, and disappointments you have not fully processed. And I understand why these emotions sometimes rise to the surface through your words, but I invite you now to bring these burdens to me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart. And when you place your pain in my hands, I will give you rest, clarity, and peace. Guard your heart, my child, for from it flow the words you speak. And when your heart is filled with love, forgiveness, and trust, your speech will naturally reflect these things. But when bitterness or resentment takes root, even unintentionally, it will seep into your tone and leave wounds behind. Forgiveness is not something I ask of you to diminish your pain, but to free you from it, because when you forgive, your heart is cleansed and your words become instruments of healing rather than harm. Understand that blessings spoken aloud are powerful, for when you speak encouragement, affirmation, and kindness over someone, you align yourself with my will for their life and release grace into their heart. But when you speak harshly or dismissively, you unknowingly partner with division. And this is why I call you to speak life, even when it requires restraint. My child, you are called to be a blessing, to speak words that uplift and restore, to correct with gentleness, and to speak truth wrapped in love, remembering that even silence can be loving when it is patient rather than withdrawn. You are not alone in this journey, for I have given you my spirit to guide you, and when you feel the urge to react out of emotion, pause and invite me into that moment, asking for wisdom, and I will give it to you generously, for I desire peace and restoration in your life. Learn from the moments behind you, both the times your words healed and the times they caused pain, and allow these lessons to shape the way you move forward, knowing that the one you love is listening not only to what you say, but to how you say it, and their heart is shaped by your tone, your patience, and your willingness to love even when it is difficult. Speak to them as I speak to you now, with patience, clarity, and compassion, and remember that prayer is your greatest refuge and strength. For when you pray for those you love, You stand in the gap and invite my protection, peace, and purpose to surround them. Your prayers are heard, my child, and they are powerful, not because of your words alone, but because of my faithfulness. And when you pray with gratitude, trust, and surrender, I move in ways you may not immediately see. Pray for the one you love with a heart full of thanksgiving, asking me to guard their heart, mind, and body, to fill them with peace, to heal any hidden wounds, and to guide their steps according to my will. And as you do, allow your own heart to be softened and renewed, for prayer transforms the one who prays as much as the one being prayed for. I am faithful, and I am working even now, weaving restoration, clarity, and healing into your life. But you must choose love over pride, patience over impulse, and trust over fear, knowing that my ways lead to life and peace. Your name is called not because you are failing, but because you are deeply loved. Your name is being called, my child, not in anger or judgment, but in love and urgent care. For heaven knows you, and I speak to you now because I see the path you are walking and the subtle way your steps are beginning to drift, and I desire to gently realign your heart before pain takes root, because the one you love most is precious to me, and the bond you share is a gift entrusted into your care. I know your heart. I know your intentions are not evil, yet I also see how weariness, frustration, unspoken fear, and unresolved emotions have begun to influence your words, and I must remind you that life and death are in the power of the tongue, for every word you speak is more than sound. It is a seed that shapes atmospheres, builds hearts, and either strengthens love or slowly fractures it. My child, your tongue, though small, carries great power, and lately words spoken without patience or gentleness have caused wounds that are not always visible, but I see them clearly, and I see the quiet pain forming in the heart of the one you cherish, even if they have not found the courage to express it. This is why I call your name now, because a moment approaches, a conversation that will test the foundation of your relationship, and it will either become a place of healing or a place of separation, depending not on circumstances but on the posture of your heart and the discipline of your speech. I do not warn you to instill fear, but to offer mercy, because what is coming can be redirected if you choose humility over pride and love over reaction. And I am giving you this moment of awareness so that you may act, repent, and realign before unnecessary loss occurs. Remember, my beloved, how your words once brought peace, reassurance, and joy, how they reflected the love I poured into you, and know that this same love still lives within you, waiting to be expressed again through kindness, patience, and grace. I do not condemn you for moments when emotions overwhelmed you, for I understand the burdens you carry and the pressures you face, but I invite you now to bring those burdens to me instead of letting them spill into your speech, because when pain is surrendered to me, it becomes compassion, and when it is held inside, it turns into sharpness. Guard your heart, for out of it flow the words you speak, and what fills your heart will always reveal itself through your mouth, which is why I call you to forgive, not only for the freedom of others, but for your own healing, because forgiveness cleanses the heart and allows your words to become instruments of healing rather than harm. My child, blessings spoken aloud are powerful, and when you choose to speak encouragement, affirmation, and gentleness, you align yourself with my will and release grace into the lives of those around you. But when you speak in anger or contempt, you unknowingly align with division, and I desire better for you. I have taught you that a soft answer turns away wrath, while harsh words stir up anger, and this truth is not only wisdom but spiritual law, for when you respond with kindness, you invite my peace, and when you react in anger, you open the door to strife. You are called to speak life. This is not a suggestion but a command rooted in love, to let no corrupt communication proceed from your mouth, but only what builds up and ministers grace. And I know this is not always easy, yet I have not asked you to do it alone, for I have given you my Spirit to guide you, strengthen you, and remind you to pause before reacting. When emotions rise, invite me into that moment, ask me for wisdom, and I will give it generously, because I desire restoration more than you can imagine. My beloved, your words create atmospheres, they build bridges or raise walls, and though your words do not create galaxies, they shape hearts and relationships, and this is why the enemy seeks to influence your speech, knowing how powerful it is. Do not underestimate the beauty of speaking blessings, for when you bless someone you release my truth and favor into their life, just as I promised Abraham to bless him so that he would be a blessing. And that same calling rests upon you. Control of the tongue is mastery of the self, for it is like the rudder of a ship, small yet directing the entire course. And I ask you now, will you allow your tongue to be guided by my spirit or driven by fleeting emotions? Your name is being called because I want you to succeed, to thrive, and to walk in healthy, life-giving relationships, yet I will not force you. For love requires choice, and obedience must be willing. The angels rejoice over your name because they know the plans I have for you, plans of peace and not harm, yet they also see the danger ahead if you ignore this call, for the path before you is shaped by the choices you make today. Choose humility. Choose to listen without interrupting. 2. Apologize without defending, to speak truth wrapped in love, and to let gentleness lead, for these choices invite heaven's help into your situation. Prayer is your refuge and your weapon, and when you pray for those you love, you are not merely asking for help, but standing in the gap, releasing my protection, healing, and guidance over their lives. And I am near, not distant, hearing every prayer and moving in ways unseen. Pray with gratitude, with faith, and with confidence, knowing that the moment you pray, my presence surrounds those you love. My angels are dispatched, and my will is at work. Pray for their hearts, minds, bodies, relationships, and purpose, declaring peace where fear tries to enter, healing where weakness exists, unity where division threatens, and clarity where confusion lingers. Trust that I am faithful, that no weapon formed against them will prosper, and that I am leading them on paths of righteousness for my name's sake. My child, I stir your heart now not to shame you but to teach you, showing you moments when your words healed and moments when they wounded, so that you may learn and grow, for the one you love is listening, and your words shape how they feel, how they see themselves, and how they experience love. Speak to them as I speak to you now with patience, kindness, truth, and unwavering care, and know this above all, your name is being called in heaven because you are deeply loved, carefully guided, and given the opportunity to choose life, and I am waiting for your response, ready to restore, protect, and bless, as you align your heart and your words with my love, for I am with you always, and my love for you will never fail.